little pre-combo here. I love your Oregon jumpsuit or whatever that is. It looks so cool.
Thank you.
Is that just like a hoodie or is it a whole?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Astrid said she's going to be late and possibly miss it, and Dawn and Chris are not coming.
Oh, and I just got a note from Dana saying she's also not going to make it.
So are we it?
We might be it. Like, we can see if Rosaline's going to come.
Okay.
And
I can see if the 4 little creatures that are in a nest that are sticking their little heads up will join us, but I haven't seen any movement today, so.
Do I know about the 4 little creatures in the nest?
No, we have, the other day, I mean, this has happened over about 2 weeks, and I'm not sure what the gestation period is for birds, but as I was asking Abby to check and see how long it takes from laying the eggs, because I didn't even know that she'd laid eggs. And I've got 2 posts on the front porch, and just in the corner of one of them, she built a nest. And I kind of watched her build the nest, and that was really fun. And then she was sitting on the nest, and then all of a sudden she flew off, and these 4 little heads popped up, and I was like, nice. "Oh, I guess it's shorter than I thought." So yeah, but they're sort of so ugly. They're cute, but
yeah. And they just look so desperate with their little mouths open. Yeah, they're never satiated.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Abby took a little.
And is there a mama and a papa?
I'm assuming, but I've only seen the one. I sent a picture because it's so high up. It's really hard, and we don't have a selfie stick or something to get it up there. But I sent a picture to Kate where one of their heads was popping up, and then one with the mama on there. Or mama was gone, but it looked like she had somehow fashioned something that looked exactly like her tail. So it looked like there was a tail sitting on the nest, so that if anybody came by, I was like, "Oh no, we're here."
Like a little decoy.
Exactly. Yeah.
My sister's a huge bird watcher, and I guess birds cycle through the summer, right? Having babies and growing up. It's not just a springtime thing. So when I went to visit her last July, she has so many different bird feeders and bird houses and all the stuff up around her yard. I think we had 2 or 3 nests of birds. And she sits on her back porch with the binoculars and just watches them. It's so sweet.
Did she have any bluebird boxes or?
I'm not enough of a bird expert. I got her an owl box one year. But she didn't have kind of a tree that was that, it has to be at a very certain height and this and that. She didn't have that. So, but anyway, it's fun. And Kate's such a bird lover. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can recognize the calls and all of that stuff.
I have all 3 of my brothers are very colorblind, and differently so. But my middle brother they're all really into birding, but where you and I would look up and see this flash of orange and say, "Oh, that's a scarlet tanager," or like something. Not that I know anything about birds. They look by shape and flight pattern and wing, barn on the wings or whatever. But I'm like, and they can tell by the song, and I'm kind of like, it has wings and it's flying. It's a bird.
Yeah. I'm sure Kate remembers me telling this story before, but when I was in Jakarta working for a USAID project that actually both Kate and I worked for, she did some consultancy work for me. There was one guy who would come out every year for about 2 months, and he was some kind of a public health specialist or medical doctor. This was a public health program, but he was a kind of a certified birder. I don't know who certifies on these things, but he would have very specific instructions for us about which hotel and hotel room he needed to stay in. and he
Nice.
chose a room that oversaw a huge city park in Jakarta. And he would spend every morning and every evening at the window and making notes of which
Yeah.
birds he saw in this big green, you know, oasis that was in the middle of
Yeah.
Jakarta. And he probably came back for like 3 years in a row. And, you know, it would always be like, oh, Tom can't join us because he's like, this is literally such a
He's hanging out the
silly.
window. Yeah.
And then we found out that he made a sighting of a bird that hadn't been seen that far south or in that part of the world or something like that.
Oh,
And
cool.
it became like kind of a big thing in the birder community that he'd caught sight of this bird. So
Oh, neat.
yeah, it was really neat to be kind of I mean, we weren't really a part of this scientific thing,
But you feel a little
but
connected.
we were
Yeah.
adjacent to it. And
Yeah.
it was neat that he'd set up his life, be able to do the thing that he loved. And also, but yeah, it was, there are
That's
people
neat.
like that out in the world.
Oh my gosh.
who
Yeah.
didn't
When
fall
Abby
into
was
it.
about, I don't know, 9 or 10, they have a rehab center, as they do, you know, many places. And Bob the birder is his name here. And like, if anybody sees a picture of him in anywhere, it's like, oh yeah, there's Bob.
There's Bob. Yeah.
And they had rehabbed, I think a red-tailed hawk or something. I can't remember. But they were gonna let it go. And so, you know, they say the place, and we went down there, and she was teeny tiny. And he was like, do you want to hold it? And so there's a picture in the paper of her holding this giant bird, and then they let it go, and it was pretty cool. But they do some pretty amazing things. But yeah, I wish I knew more, but I don't.
It takes discipline. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It takes discipline. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, I think it's just you and I. So when
Okay.
we restart the recording.